Hi, everyone. I'm Erica.
I'm Brian.
And we are the bakers of thebakers.tv. And we work online with men and women who want to create easy communication and deep connection in their friendships and their relationships. And we're here today with Laura Kruger, and we are going to be interviewing her about the 3 ways to prioritize your relationship without changing your routine. So, Laura, what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
Well, thank you for having me on. I am so excited.
We're excited.
So what I do, I am a wellness strategist. And so what that means is that I help people gain confidence in creating healthy lifestyles. And my approach is very much more holistic. If you think of it that way, in regards to wellness, it's very holistic. And so I've been working in health and wellness for years.
Before it was a fad.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm in my mid 30s, so I'll share that with you. But I mean, I would say at least 15 years, let's say that. Because, in high school, still figuring out but really, I feel like in the beginning, in college, I really started to hit my stride. So I've been doing this for a while in different capacities, and I love it. So
awesome. That's awesome. Cool. And then you do this as a main business. So how did you come up with these specific 3 ways to prioritize your relationships without changing your routine?
Well, I should mention first is that what I should have elaborated before. So I do this, and you can find me on BeWellWellness.com. Not only that, but I also actually teach. I teach as well. I teach in higher ed. And I also have in the past worked with clients in regards to working towards healthy behavior. So I should have added that a little bit before, in regards to a slew of different things. So through my experiences in interacting with different people, but also my own personal experiences, I've solidified what is really key in prioritizing relationships, particularly in regards to couples and marriage, for example. Mm-hmm. So it kind of comes from the professional side, also working with students and adults, and also from a personal side of what I've learned along the way too.
Yeah, we like the personal side especially. Yes. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you've implemented these into your personal life, what it was before, and then implementing it, and maybe some of the growing pains with that, and then what it looked like after, before we dive deep into what the actual steps are.
Sure. So to give you a little bit of background, I'm currently in South Dakota. So I am in the upper Midwest, and I should say, I'm not sure what the weather is like where you are, but we are having beautiful weather. It
actually is nice today.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So I am so happy. So we're in South Dakota, but I'm actually from New York. And then I grew up all in New York, in Western New York. And then I spent about 13 years in Ohio, in Central Ohio, and I kind of moved all around. And Ohio is really kind of where I started my professional life, my adult life, I'm a mom. I did a variety of different things. And so through a slew of different experiences, such as working full time and my husband working full time. My husband also just recently retired from being an athlete, and he was training also for a variety of Olympic Games. He went to 3 Olympic Games. So he was working full time and training full time. I was working full time, and then we also had 2 kids.
Wow.
We were like bonkers. And so there's no manual of like, oh, do this, don't do this, because everybody's different and you have a different situation. So you kind of navigate it on your own, but the key is having people around you to support you. Mm-hmm. So these methods, these kind of tips that have really been helpful kind of evolved over time, honestly. It's not like, and the thing is that life is busy, and we can always say, yes, oh my gosh, I have no time. But the thing is that we can do simple things in the day-to-day. It doesn't have to be recreating the wheel. And so those are things that I like to focus on, because it doesn't have to be rocket science.
Right.
And it just takes intentionality. So that's kind of where these stem from. So once my husband and I got married, he was already training, and we really knew nothing different. He was training for the Olympic Games. I was working. He was working. We really knew nothing different. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that was like 13, 15 years.
Wow.
Sorry, I have the window open. Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
Real life.
Yeah, real life. We knew nothing different. That's kind of how we navigated until 2 years ago. We moved to South Dakota, and I wasn't working full time, and he wasn't training full time. And we had all this time in the world for family, which was the focus, but also a totally different shift than what we were used to. So honestly, we kind of are starting a whole new chapter out here in South Dakota, meeting new people, having more family time. And so these things have really even amplified even more. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of been a progression that's kind of just molded along the way.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, why don't we dive into it? What would be the first way to prioritize our relationship?
Yeah, so one of the first ways that really helps prioritize a relationship is intentionality through de-stressing.
You know that's our word, right? Intentionality is our word.
I mean, we're all busy and everything, so it doesn't have to be all of this, how much, counting how much hours in a day. It's quality and being intentional when you're with each other. And so the couple things, and we talk about even prioritizing your relationship, a lot of times it's just slowing down when you're with them and not in the rush. And for everyone, it may look different. When we're talking about relationships, I'm mainly focusing in regards to couples as opposed to friendships, because friendships or even parent-to-child relationship is different. But in regards to prioritizing a relationship, I found that when you really just de-stress, it really, really helps prioritize. So, for example, if I were to take a look at things that we do that help us de-stress, we're obviously busy during the day, but we de-stress mainly in the evening. And we de-stress mainly when we, recap on everyone's day, but also humor and laughter are huge for us. Mm-hmm. And it may be an episode of watching The Office or Friends, whatever that might be. But if we were to watch an episode of that and we're laughing, it kind of takes the weight off. But then on a side note, taking technology away from it and then reconnecting.
Yeah.
So that's been really key. The other thing that really helps us when it comes to de-stressing is just communicating. For example, in the evening, we'll chat and we'll talk and everything. But the next day, I'll think and I'll say, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to tell AG this. And he'll come home, let's just say he comes home for lunch. He goes, I didn't know this, that, or the other. And I'm like, yeah, I totally forgot to tell you last night. And so that's life, and that's how it goes. But communication and communicating effectively has been key, and that's been a learned behavior.
Yes, that does not come naturally.
No,
not at all. And a lot of people feel like it should, or that there's something wrong with their relationship because they can't communicate. I mean, we went through that.
Yeah, well, we did too, and it's almost like we have to verbally say what we're thinking. It doesn't just telepathically, go from one person to the other. And I had to learn to. I talk a lot. I'm an extrovert. I love to talk, but I had to change the way I was talking and actually express how I was feeling. So even how I was communicating. But I also found that sometimes, when do we communicate the best? We communicate the best, in the evening for us. But we find that we communicate best in the car, like when we're driving places.
Yep.
So if anything, if we're driving places and we want to go somewhere, I'm almost like, yes, I could care less where we're going, because I love to talk and listen. I'd focus on listening too, not just talking.
You and me both, Laura.
It's a struggle sometimes, but road trips I find have been awesome, and just even if it's like a 40-minute drive or whatnot, that time. So if you're not, like yelling at the kids in the back of the car or whatever,
Yep.
So de-stressing would be one key thing I would recommend in regards to prioritizing your relationship.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
And what's the second way?
Another one would be empowerment. And I really like this one because I feel like this has rung really true for me recently, and our relationship in regards to empowerment, because when moving to a new city or a new state, and it's like about 1,000 miles away from what I was comfortable with, I was like, what am I doing? What am I going to do? And my husband was awesome in regards to encouraging me and empowering me to say, you know what, let's think outside the box. What are some things and goals and dreams? Like, you can almost think about what are ways that if you want to start over and if you want to try new avenues. And so he empowered me to almost think outside the box. And I was like, I've never considered something like that. So that I found he prioritized me in a time when things were kind of like crazy, kind of like take a moment and you can prioritize yourself. Because for 13 years, he was training. And really, I was kind of empowering him, if you think about it. And so now that there's a shift and I reflect on that, I can see how there was a shift of me empowering him, and it was just supporting him, encouraging him when he was going to meets and traveling internationally and all that stuff. And then we moved here and there was a shift and he's retired and now working. And the shift is focused. I'm like, oh, well, let's see here. So that knowing that there is that support, and if I fail, that it's going to be okay, that it's going to be all right. If I do a Facebook Live interview and everything goes great, or if anything is terrible, life's okay. Life's okay.
You're doing great. Just like, this is her first Facebook Live interview. She's done plenty of interviews, but.
I know. I told my husband when we were doing this, I said, this is going to be my first one. I said, what do you think? Or any tips or anything? He's like, nope, you'll be great. Go for it. I'm like, all right. Thanks, hon. All right.
On that note, what would you tell people who may be watching? We have a lot of couples that we work with that their spouse isn't like that they aren't empowering like that. Maybe not necessarily even that they don't want to be, but they just don't know, that they're capable of doing that, or what that looks like, or it just seems like far to reach, or maybe the other spouse is kind of checked out temporarily. What would you tell them in that empower each other part?
Well, two things. One, I would probably say even though you may not be getting that support back, is to still keep the communication lines open, because you never know. Just because someone may not be empowering or supportive, it may be due to fear or uncomfortableness or whatnot, but it may be just they need to come around a little bit. So I wouldn't block it off and saying, they won't come around, because you never know. So I would keep the lines of communication open, but B, I would also see if there's some other close people near you that can also support you along the way. Because we all know it takes a village, and sometimes we feel like we're lonely and we don't know what we're doing. And honestly, moving to a new town, I was very lonely at a lot of different times, and you need that community. And now that it's almost 2 years later, we're in a different spot now. But there's times where you need that support from others. So if you're not getting it from person who's closest to you, I would keep the lines of communication open and continue to express your wishes and vocalize them, but also reach out to us. You also have another community. You're not going at it alone. And actually, that's really where you and Brian, where you guys really would be so awesome in regards to having, you as the bakers and having that community, because community is so key.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I would encourage, definitely.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. Community is like the biggest thing. Every year I feel like we get deeper into having community around us, the more we realize how transformative and imperative it is to have that around you. And if you don't have it, you need it. It's not really optional. Like, it's a need to be able to survive.
Yep. And so, I mean, for example, so one thing, so when we first moved here, I was trying to figure out how to, okay, I need to make some friends out here. And so I was kind of trying to figure how all that worked out. And when I started making friends, I told my husband, I said, let's start inviting people over for dinner. Let's really start getting to know people. I mean, more than just, hi, how you doing? Like, let's get to know them a little bit more before just so we know at least a little bit about them. And so having people over, and even in your home when our house is like a mess, I'm like, this is just how real life goes, and I want to do life with other people,
Yep.
I know you.
Yes, we do. That's exactly. We're not saying anything because we don't want people to feel like they have the pressure of needing to be perfect, and we don't want that either. So if we're putting that out there, then people are going to expect us to be perfect when we come over. And sometimes there's going to be baby, smooch or whatever you call it, spit up or whatever. I can't even think, mom brain. It's just going to happen. And so having that community is important for sure.
Yeah. I agree. So the third way, if I want to share with you, the third way that would be prioritizing each other, even if it's through movement or food. And my husband and I, we love food. We also like to move, and we like to stay active as well. So that's one way that we have found that we're able to prioritize each other and something that we're passionate about. So if it's not moving and it's not food, then you find something else, but you find something that you both like to do.
And so children related or work related. It's not allowed to be productive. We found that out. It has to be passionate about it, but not productive.
Right. Like we'll just be just silly and it's just goofy, and that's okay. Or if you're just at home and you're just like stretching, or you're like just do something that's relaxing, see, I'm merging the two together. So anything that just involves things that you're passionate about is really, really key. So that would be the last thing, is prioritizing through methods that are passions. And for us, it's eating, food, and moving. I like to go for walks. At the end, like after dinner, I like to move and take a walk and stuff. But sometimes, after a long day, and you're tired and everything, sometimes that's the last thing you want to do. And that's okay too. And so just finding something that you both enjoy to do would be the last thing. So I tell you, it's not easy, but it's finding things that work for you guys.
Yep. We played soccer for a while together on a co-ed team, and I feel like games are now our thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We wish that soccer was still our thing. We can't find a team right now, so if anybody's out there watching,
Cleveland, Ohio area.
But board games have definitely become our thing, and we have a monthly game night where we invite just whoever we know in our network comes over and play some games and have the kids go down in the basement and play together, and it's just a super relaxed time.
And that's awesome because it's laughing and it's everything, and really laughing is a stress reliever, and it allows you to just decompress and have fun, and those belly laughs that make you cry. And so that's awesome. Those are awesome. We're not doing games right now. I don't know what stage of life we are in and doing, but games are fun. Games are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We
have people all the way from like 20 to probably 57 come to our game nights. It's a very big range of age of people.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We had a get together probably a couple weeks ago, and we had 45 people, and I thought that was a lot. I mean, you get some, but you know what? Everyone kind of just molds and starts chatting, and then they start moving to other people, and you start just mingling, and it's just awesome through the games, during the games. I get it.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, Laura. Can you let everyone know where to find you if they want to learn a little bit more about what you do and how you can help them?
Sure, certainly. So you can find me on Be Well Wellness. So that's the site. I'm also very active on Instagram at WellFit Happy, and then also have Facebook page of WellFit Happy that you can find Be Well Wellness, all sorts of stuff. And I'm also on Twitter as WellFit Happy as well. So you can find me there. I have, I like to do a lot of blogging. I'll blog like once or twice a week or so. And I have a course on there as well, and some other fun things that are going to be released within the next month. So that's where you can find me.
If the viewers who are watching you right now, if they have a certain question in mind, what is that question that they would know, like, hey, I need to go look at Laura to see the resources and things like that? What question are they asking themselves that point to you?
You know, the question that I have been getting the most, so I will back up and say that my wheelhouse of expertise it varies, and it kind of goes in ebbs and flows of kind of what are people struggling with at certain times. And so for a while, I was working with a lot of people in regards to diet and exercise. And other times I was working with people in regards to finding their career passions, and whether it be revising their resume and finding out what works best for them. Right now, I'm in a path where I'm working with several people in regards to how to reduce stress, how to reduce anxiety. I also teach courses as well in regards to stress and managing it. And that's actually growing more and more of a concern of, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I just need strategies. Everything's good maybe with my partner or my relationships, but me, myself, I get overwhelmed and I need strategies. And so that is, right now, that's kind of the slew of where I'm working with people, which is great. And they're all very doable. So who does not need stress management? Amen. Amen, Michaela.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm currently working with people on.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Laura. And again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. You can always check us out at thebakers.tv, as well as on our Facebook page, The Bakers TV. And we are doing weekly live videos at least once a week. And right now we're in the series of God messages. So if you haven't seen God Message Day 1 today, or some things that we've been hearing from God through the fast that we just went through. So you can stay tuned for all those messages for the next 7 days. So thank you again, Laura, and you guys have a great night.
Thank you.